Welcome along to Metaverse 1 2024. You are here now in room 1 where we're talking about Copilot Wave 2 panel talk. We are joined with some great people here on our panel. So if they just want to quickly introduce themselves, over to you, Vesa, to go first.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Vesa Nopanen. Everybody calls me Vesku. I'm a principal consultant for future work at Sulava and one of the main organizers here at Metaverse 1 and also in Teams Nation. We are in the organizing group and a lot of other things, but I think that was enough.
Sharon, do you want to give yourself a quick introduction? You're on mute, Sharon.
Sorry, talking to myself. It's nothing unusual there. I'm Sharon Sumner, Microsoft MVP and Regional Director for the UK. I run my own solution partner organisation, and so I'm heavily involved in the commercial side and commercial interest behind Microsoft products.
Brilliant, thank you, Sharon. And Adam, do you want to give a quick introduction?
Yes, of course, thank you. Adam Deltinger, one of the organizers of Metaverse 1, as well as Teams Nation. Day-to-day, working with Microsoft 365 for ABLOY, also an MVP as well. So happy to be here.
Brilliant. And then real quick one from us, Reg, helping out with Metaverse 1, would say as one of the organizers, but helping out where I can. Also Microsoft MVP. My normal day-to-day working, I work for a company here in the UK called Avanade, where I'm a workplace advisory consultant. Right, so as mentioned, we're going to take you through some of the announcements that occurred around Microsoft Copilot Wave 2. So, Copilot was a big announcement 18 months ago, I think it was now, changing the world with AI and integration within Microsoft 365. It's taken many twists and turns along the journey. And then this week we had the announcements of Wave 2 and what the future is around Microsoft 365 Copilot. So we'll see if this works, but hopefully it does. We're using PowerPoint Live, so it should work pretty seamlessly. But we're just going to play our first little bit, which is around Copilot pages. So if you haven't seen this, you're in for a treat.
And I think audio is off, so we can talk over. No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to talk over the top of this, are we, Vesku?
No, we don't have to. I thought that they were audio off originally, but I think, Adam, you turned them back on. We can play them audio.
Okay, we'll play them. Okay, so that was Copilot pages. Now, one of the announcements from this week of Wave 2. We've got some questions that we're going to put to the panel around this. But as I said, I've put it into the chat. So if anyone does have their thoughts as well, if we want to answer some of these questions themselves and we can share your answers, please do. We want this to be a bit more interactive within this session. So please do share your thoughts as well.
Sari was saying that, okay, are we supposed to hear something? Yes, you were supposed to hear something. It usually works with the PowerPoint Live because I was hearing whatever was there as well. So too bad that you didn't, but that's a normal demo, so you can find it very easily to replay again if necessary. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, apologies there for sound wasn't coming through for some of you out there. Okay, so the first question, Vesku, I'm going to go to yourself with this one. So what was your first impression of Copilot pages?
I think it was simply like, wow. I love the idea because now combining Copilot results and pull them directly to the Loop page, because that is a Loop page and I love Loop and been using that quite a lot at the work all the time. And so combining all this to the Copilot and being able to pull in information from the web, from the work site directly to the page, and basically anyone can do that. So whoever has been invited to the same page, I really like the idea because I don't have to copy paste. I think that's the thing. I don't have to take the result and then paste it there and so on. It can kind of make things a bit easier again.
Right, yeah, I mean, like I say, it's got that familiar feel, hasn't it, around Loop, but it's almost taking it to that next level now and giving it that extra push that we can see with Copilot and Loop linking together. The collaboration piece there is really good. I mean, it reminds me of the days of first collaborating on OneNote, and going through that stage. Whereas looking at now how Microsoft technology has advanced from there is great to see. Adam, a question for you. What are some innovative ways you could see using Copilot pages?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of this is to kind of we have to see how they can be used. I mean, we can do a lot with Loop, and as Vesku mentioned, I think I have been using Loop as well. Both me and Vesku have been doing Loop sessions also together, and we're kind of used to using Loop, right? And you can do a lot of great stuff with it. And it's kind of like Microsoft is kind of more and more integrating like Loop into kind of everything. It's already kind of more and more support for applications and so forth. And now Copilot as well. So I think it's kind of natural in the way Microsoft does this. Could raise some concerns as well, to be honest. I mean, when you think about many users haven't even started using Loop yet, and now kind of we're throwing in more and more. So I think it's the approach here we're kind of governing this is an important topic, I believe, because users start using this and they don't know really where things end up because they might have not used Loop before, and that is also kind of going away from the topic here. But I think I was looking into kind of a little bit about the administrative model or the governance model for this, and it turns out this is a separate setting. So if you have enabled or disabled Loop today, you can actually turn this on or off site to site, so to speak. So you can have everything enabled, including Loop or this enabling Copilot pages, but you can also activate this while you might have disabled Loop today. So that's a good thing, at least, right? But otherwise, with some innovative ways. I mean, as I said, Vesku mentioned it as well. I mean, copy paste and all of that is very easy in a very fluent way. Just say, okay, we got a result here. So what do I do with this? Yeah. So we created this Copilot page and then very easily share that with many to be able to collaborate. Or what Microsoft have a new word now for collaborate. What was it? Multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
They're throwing multiplayer into the pile here now as well. So we can multiply with other people here now as well. just as with other loop components and loop pages and so forth, right? So I think that's the main thing. Trying to kind of have everything in a cohesive way, so to speak, and that's a good thing.
And
I think
I think, yeah, sorry, just thinking about innovative ways, like it will kind of feed on itself more. Like you can see what others have been doing, what kind of information they are bringing. So the loops idea was more or less that you can collect a lot of information and then you start working on that. So you have those bits and pieces there all the time. So I think that might be something that we can see people using, maybe Copilot more there as well. But I think there's going to be some great stuff when people start really using that, because we like sparring or coaching. We are going to be energized through that and get new ideas, and it can reflect to Copilot pages.
And it's kind of like it goes around, right? So if you use Copilot to create a result, which end up you create the Copilot page, and then you can use Copilot within Loop to further create stuff, right? So it's a closed circle. Yeah.
And continue using Copilot and adding information to that same page. So it sounds very interesting.
No, brilliant. No, yeah, it does. It's exciting, isn't it? These things we're seeing. I think you touched on something really important there, though, Adam, about the security governance side of it. A lot of enterprise organizations out there are a bit on the edge around using Loop. So I think there's a lot that needs to be done, isn't there, still around this whole aspect, especially like you said, if you can enable one but not the other, but it still works, it's gonna could be a headache for some out there.
I think businesses are always going to be nervous when it's done in the browser, right? Which is why they tend to use the apps. So sort of seeing everything Loop is at its best in the browser. It's integrated into the Office suite in the browser. But with that little switch at the top, web and work, I think is also going to cause some small heart palpitations for quite a lot of the security folks out there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there'll be the ability to disable web and only have work, or vice versa.
They are very different chats. As I was playing with it earlier, so you're not necessarily in the same chat as you go between them. Although I've got to say, on mine, the editing pages is not appearing yet. So clearly, Adam, I need your help to get in the background there and switch something on.
And I saw that we had a question there. It's a licensing question. Those are always very interesting. And I don't know if Microsoft updated their kind of licensing in regards on their Loop pages and stuff like that. I see here that in their announcement blog, they say who gets Copilot pages, and quoting here now, I can actually paste this in the chat as well. I don't know if that answered the question, but users with access to Microsoft 365 Copilot will be able to create Copilot pages, and soon users with access to Microsoft Copilot, our free commercial Copilot product, will also be able to create pages. It's always up for interpretation when it comes to Microsoft licensing a little bit here, and I think there will probably, if not, I haven't seen any more information about it. It's a very interesting question, but it's a question to follow here. I think absolutely. I don't know if they published more information somewhere around this yet.
No, but how I read that is that if you have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, you can use these Copilot pages. I'm all saying Loop pages all the time almost.
So it's always tricky, isn't it, when you get the license questions, because it's never black and white on this. But yeah, thank you, Adam, for sharing that. Hopefully that gives people a bit of a starting block around it. Okay, so it's our final question around Copilot pages then. I guess, Sharon, firing this one to you. How do you envision Copilot pages evolving to meet future needs?
It's a really good question. So I'm already a heavy user of Claude with the projects functionality, so that you've got assets attached to a chat and that are shared with groups. And what I find happens in that space is that, and obviously Microsoft is giving us the security layer around our data, so that's the real big win here. So I think as it evolves, we're going to see a lot more of where we would normally set up a team with a team chat and a team channel, etc. This might kind of usurp that a little bit and sort of do that one time. We're developing one thing, and then it's saved in loop. And it doesn't mean that you're having to provision a whole team for those kind of smaller pieces of work. So I think it fits in there for me. That seems like a natural commercial place for it.
Yes, Vesku or Adam, is there anything you want to add along those lines?
How they are going to evolve? I think we'll be seeing integrations there, more or less there, because the integrating data to different places, of course, you will be doing that through Copilot extensions and extending Copilot, but it might be that it could be connecting to the live integration part in the future, because it would make sense there.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, a lot of the evolving here is also on the loop part, since it kind of transfers over to a loop experience, and that hence new functionality there and such.
Brilliant. As I said earlier on, great to see people's thoughts on this in the chat. Do keep it flowing in there. But what we're going to do, we're going to skip over to our next area of conversation, which is around biz chat. So catchy kind of name on this one, that's come around to do with this. So Vesku, did you want to explain a little bit more around biz chat?
Yep, I can start. And well, the business chat name is not new in that sense. I don't know if you noticed, but it came back as a new name. But this biz chat was called business chat when it came out first time in the Teams, like a year ago or something. And so business chat is, well, it's your UI for a lot of things, because you are going to be working with your data. It's especially because business chat is connected to your information using the graph. So you can pull out whatever organizational resources you have, so Copilot can use them. And it's getting a lot of things. I think the catch up, create, ask, that's a basic thing there. Like, okay, we can catch up on emails or meetings and asking for information, but we have seen a so creative usage of biz chat already, because it's up to your prompts, what you want to use there, how do you want it to use to you as a sparring partner or not. But it's evolving now a lot more. It's because with these recent updates, like, well, the pages is there as well, but it's going to have, I don't know if we have time for that, but the capability is like creating those agents directly from the biz chat. So it's becoming more and more like the hub where you can do more things. Not everything, but a lot more things than you did before.
So like I say, we've seen Copilot chat within Teams, for those of us out there that have been using Copilot. So this is the next step around this, because it did change the name already, didn't it, within Microsoft
I think
Teams?
It wasn't named, and it was business chat in the beginning, but it never got a real good name. It was just kind of Copilot chat, and now Copilot chat seems to refer to the more kind of non-enterprise version of Copilot. So this is business chat. This is talking about whatever we have on the business side, and if you use your probably MSA license or kind of a public one, then you are using the Copilot chat. So we will be confused about the terms a bit, whoever is using which one. So I guess that's why they came up with the name BizChat.
So Sharon, if you come across this and had a look at some of the new things this might bring to the table for us.
Yeah, I mean, look, commercially, it's always nice to see ways that save us time, right? So if we're out at that web page, so when we're inside Teams and we're using Copilot chat, whatever we call it in there, it's very much introducing Copilot as another member of the team, somebody else that you're talking with, and so then you can build other people into that conversation as well. Whereas what this is doing by taking it to the web is it's also giving you that ability easily to flick to the web as well, because you're not necessarily in the context of online while you're in that business experience because of the security layers, right? So I think, and again, it's interesting. Loop works well in the browser. Outlook has now moved really to a browser experience. We're kind of pushing more that way, and so I think, but you have to get the features and the functionality that we're looking for here. So I think I think it'll evolve itself outside of Teams. Unless we're going to bring that in as a page within the Teams experience, I'm not quite sure how that integration is going to work. That would be my concern. It's that confusion. Where do I go for that I think is going to pop up.
And Adam, have you used this already or been playing with this? So, when do you think you'd use it, or what would you use it for?
Yeah, I mean, it's a confusing question, I think. I wrote it, but I think still it is, because I think I want to take a step back here and say, like, okay, so how do we define, what's the definition of this chat actually, right? We talked about this at the renaming. I mean, in my understanding here, and I've tried to wrap my hand around how to kind of best explain if someone asks, so, okay, I heard about this chat. Is that just a rename, or what is it? And the best way I can explain it is like Microsoft is kind of, as with other Copilot product names as well, kind of separating the graph grounded, where you have all your work within your tenant, and with the web grounding, so to speak, it goes out on the web and search for information. And you can see here on the image, I think this gives a pretty clear explanation. It's basically Copilot chat, but with graph grounding. So hence the new name for that is BizChat. And then, of course, they have added new functionality here for that, such as we mentioned agents. We will come to that in just a second here. Copilot pages and so forth, right? Those, of course, are very new. I haven't playing around with that. But to answer the question, going back to the original question, have I used it? Yes, I've been using Copilot chat previously that are graph grounded in my organization, and for that I use basically for everything I need to prompt in regards to something that have happened, meetings, people, getting documents, summaries, all of those things. I think that we have been using Copilot chat before is also what we're going to use this chat for. So to keep it simple.
Well, it's the same.
Yeah.
Chat. It's not a new tool or anything. It's a new name, just given new name for that, and now added functionalities. So let's not get confused about that. That part.
So to keep it even more simple, I mean, as we can really see it as kind of a renaming, because the actual icon will probably just be renamed and would be exact the same with some added functionality, anyways, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I've been using Copilot chat. It's a bit of when you first get it, it's a bit of a novelty thing, isn't it? You ask lots of questions to see what it comes back with, and I'm sure many techies out there think, right, let's see if we can try and break it as such and ask it things that it shouldn't give me answers to, and it worked really well. I mean, something that I used it for, which I think is brilliant, is task where you're trying to compare things. So a good example is comparing people's CVs against a job description or people's applications and so on. I think it's very good at doing things like that. I found it really useful, especially in the type of work a lot of us do out there. When you're busy throughout your day, you need a summary of information that's happened from your meetings, from your chat conversations, from your emails and so on. I think it's very clever in doing stuff like that. I would like to take it to that next level. And really test it, and I'm sure many of us out there would. So it's exciting to see the name change and the rebranding as such, but hopefully with the more functionality and so on, we can get more use out of it rather than it being our friendly chat person that we go to. Okay, I did put a question in our chat, the Teams chat, that one. If anyone has been using Copilot chat, it'd be great to see some people's user cases and examples that they've been using it for. So please do share your experiences with it in the chat.
Or your best prompts.
Or your best prompts, yeah, exactly that. We are going to skip forward then to Copilot in PowerPoint and some of the updates there. So I'm going to play this, and to someone, Adam, Sharon, or Vesku, do you want to talk through this rather than having the Microsoft sound? Because I know some people aren't getting that sound. So if you want to talk through the video, any volunteers?
I think we can just have some conversation during, I don't know, Sharon, do you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I think for me, PowerPoint was was behind on the features that we got with Copilot in the first release. They seem to be really catching us up now. So what this part is doing here is it's like a layer on top. So when you go to start a new presentation, it gives you the ability to start building the slides and the focus of it. So as you can see, we can move things around, we can add in extra slides. And again, I had a play with this today, and it's actually quite nice. But what you tend to do is you tend to rush past this piece. So what I would say to people is just take a minute, slow down, and read what this is, because you know how it is. An alert screen pops up, and you just go, yeah, done. And you scoot straight through. This is actually really quite clever. And then it jumps you straight into the deck. Now, I was only playing this morning with some sample decks. It made up some great stuff. It was complete fiction, but it was really good. And I think it's really nice at commercial scenarios. And I think that's where we've gone now. This idea that we can now pull, like it's doing here, the images from your commercial branding, from your commercials approved images, is really important, and it was missing from the first bit. So I really feel this has caught us up quite a bit feature-wise for PowerPoint.
And also, of course, generating the images with DALL-E, but they didn't point that out too much yet.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's going to have like 5 fingers and words won't look right and stuff, but we all know that that's going to happen anyway, right?
But then, I mean, they talked quite a lot about, I mean, on that thing, I mean, I think that's super cool, like with generating images. But I mean, I think for many organizations, it's a big concern because there's a lot of discussions now in regards to what do we do with, AI content, AI created content, and are we gonna allow that in our, business corporate presentations and so on? And Microsoft actually talked about using your organizational owned assets like images and so forth that allow Copilot to only use those images. So that's, I think that's just as it's super cool with DALL-E and then on creating AI content. I think it's just as it's important that, wait a minute, maybe we don't want to do that, and instead make sure that Copilot only uses our organizational assets instead. So both very important points there.
Yeah, and I think, look, within PowerPoint, the things that you're doing the most often haven't been addressed within the Copilot yet. So you ask it to change all the images to have a blue background or something, and it will point you to where you can go and get that done. And we need to look at what features we can add on the Copilot side of things to help get around those common things that we do in PowerPoint, change the font throughout, etc. Because they're the real time consuming bits, right? But yeah, using the corporate branding, corporate fonts, massive win. Love it.
Yeah, it is. And of course, it's based on the SharePoint organizational assets library. So it's a good reason to kind of set it up if you don't have it, because it will get utilized. Hopefully now or soon, I don't know. I actually haven't played even with this yet. So Sharon, you are way ahead of me on this one. I've been busy today for some weird reason.
I'm head of sales, so I have to do a lot of decks.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we did have a question come in from the chat. So the question is, assuming there is only text in a specific slide page, can we ask Copilot to create an image based on slide contents? So the prompt would be something along the lines of create an image using all the text content in slide 14.
Yeah, it's quite creative, so I'm not quite sure what your image would be. You've got to be really careful with what you're saying in that. But and again, I think this is where it's going to be jumping in, jumping out, and this is that integration piece that Vesa was talking about earlier. That's really got to happen. So if you can't get what you want within PowerPoint, you're going to jump out to BizChat, get it created over there, and bring back again. And it would be nice to have a move this to Word, move this to PowerPoint kind of functionality. That would be a big win.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the main. I've been hearing that a lot from Microsoft, that kind of they had very different Copilot experience within the different applications, and some are better there than here, and usually Copilot Chat, or I would say BizChat now, kind of like it's kind of the best of them all. You can do a lot there, but then again, nothing application specific, so it's copy paste and so forth. And PowerPoint has been lacking, but then other functionality has been good there, so that they will bring out kind of bring in all the good experiences in all the application, making it a more unified experience, so you don't have to do that. So hopefully that will also happen. And on the question here, I haven't tried this, so I do not know, of course, but I mean, I can't see why this wouldn't be I mean, it's nothing. If it's going to use DALL-E, it can generate AI pictures, and it's just if there's in the description, and of course Copilot can understand what's on the slide, especially if it's creating it itself as well. It should be able to generate an AI image there from that as well. But yeah, we'll see it. We will see when we try this out, I guess.
Yep.
I guess just one final question. I mean, Sharon, you've said you've had a bit of hands-on with it and a play with it. Do you still think there's something missing that Microsoft haven't addressed yet that we could see in the future around Copilot and PowerPoint?
Okay, so two mantras here that I live by: getting to value faster. So I think what they've put in here allows us to get started quickly, right? And I think that's really important, and it really is for the creative process, so you haven't got blank page syndrome. But the other is continually developing, and I don't think it will stop at all. And I think while we're getting this as a big release, this is a wave 2, I think loads of stuff's going to happen under the hood within each of the product sets that allows that to iterate. So I think this is a big win to get us started. I think there are lots of features that need to come in the background to support that. And they will. You look how fast AI is moving, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and just to point out, kind of also the topic narrative builder. We haven't mentioned that too much, I think, but I mean, I think it looks really good, because one of the, I would say, the experience was very lacking in PowerPoint when you create the presentation from this, and it kind of created it, and it kind of looked wanky and didn't look good. I think having this narrative builder, kind of like step by step, where you can see, and then you can individually, before kind of creating the final presentation, something like that, looks very promising. And I really much look forward to use that and see how that improves the overall experience.
Especially if it works really well with the company templates, because that was a big problem earlier. It wasn't easy, and it really depends on the PowerPoint template how well it worked or not. But now they promised something like that it should be working better, especially if they are into organizational assets.
Yeah, I mean, it has been working, but yeah, I mean, it's so and so. But I mean, the way you did it before, and I think it's the same way you do it now. It may be just like improved experience, right? But you just make sure you open up your template, and then you prompt Copilot to create a presentation or create content from there, and it will kind of still utilize that template. But yeah, hopefully we'll see how that experience have changed or improved, I would say.
There you go, I just did it for you. So if you look in the chat, you can see the prompt and then how it responded by taking our code of contact and putting a nice image next to it. I'm not sure that's what you're looking for in terms of the quality of image, and maybe your text can be a bit more, tailored to a product maybe. But yeah, that's not a bad response, considering I think the last time I tried to do that, it said,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
If we move along then, so to cover Copilot agents. So yeah, in the announcements there was Copilot Studio Agent Builder. So we'll play through this and just talk over the top of this. So someone wants to take a little lead and talk about Agent Builder in Copilot Studio.
Yeah, there's a lot, and of course, I think the biggest difference was here that before you had to go to actual Copilot Studio, but now it looks more and more like they are bringing the Copilot Studio into BizChat. So you can use it from either place because they have the ability to create that Copilot agent directly from there. I don't have to go to the studio. So this feature was more or less in the Copilot Studio already, like you could be able to tell Copilot Studio what kind of a bot or a Copilot to create. Now, these are all agents. We don't have Copilots anymore, we have agents. And all that was accessible from there, but I think it was yesterday when I was trying, it wasn't there. So maybe it's coming back or coming through this. But you can start to create and define your own agent, and you can give it information sources, for example, like or use connectors to connect that Copilot to some other information from Dynamics, for example, or Dataverse, where whatever information you have, and then build it without having to really code, or you just tell and select. It's a no-code solution for that ability to create kind of your own agents very, very quickly. And of course, if you are just adding information sources with this, it's really easy. And I drop into that question already. Will this be for every user, or will you still need an extra Copilot Studio license? I think this is going like the Copilots were going with earlier. So if you have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, then you were able to create those Copilots. So I don't see this going any differently. And they wouldn't have this option if they didn't have the Copilot Microsoft 365 Copilot license anyway.
So I think we need to confirm 100%, but yeah, Copilot Studio is included within the Microsoft 365. Now they renamed that as well, Copilot for Microsoft 365, right? On Microsoft 365.
No.
Yep.
We're all going to get caught by that.
Microsoft 365 Copilot. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's included in there. Yeah, sorry.
There's an evolution here, isn't there? So these bots have been around for quite a while, and we've been using Copilot Studio actually as Power Virtual Agents for quite some time. So again, this is a rename evolution piece. And they were always called Power Virtual Agents, which is why I assume that they've held on to the agent terminology. So, but I think it's a little confusing. I don't know about anybody else, because I work in the wider sphere of AI with an awful lot of startups through the Microsoft Startup Hub, and there's a lot of AI technology out there that refers to agents in a very different light. Agents are not the same as bots, but Microsoft have always had this this concept of agents within, say, D365, as well as Power Virtual Agents. I think it's really difficult terminology. So I think some of this is going to need to wash out, honestly. So I wouldn't be surprised if that changes again.
Yeah. And something that you could think about here is that some organizations remove that kind of little tick box for Copilot Studio for users, kind of, I would say, normal end users with a Copilot license, because they don't want them to go into Copilot Studio and make a lot of stuff there. So they've disabled that. So that will also kind of, I would assume that will also then remove this experience with agents. And one more thing here, because like kind of the definition of what it is, kind of like, is it Copilot Studio or is it not? I heard a good explanation saying it. So basically, Copilot Studio, Copilot Agents is a feature. It's not a product. It's a feature of the product Copilot Studio, right? So it's kind of like a end user facing in the kind of user application. So now you can be in this chat creating an agent very easily. And then if you want to further enhance and customize and configure, you go back in Copilot Studio where it's actually kind of lives, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think this is a super accelerator to get you there. This is pre-Copilot Studio, isn't it? The stuff that we've announced here with the agents. But I think the stuff that we'd seen previously, just going into Denson's question there about who's it going to show up for. So the demo that we saw for Click to Copilot for SharePoint, for example, allows the owners of a site to create a Copilot for that site. So I assume there's going to be, I mean, we don't know yet, but some sort of similar integration, right? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if the others have.
Yeah, I was looking for the kind of the next question thing, the governance part. I think they had something in the announcement blog on that they are thinking about the governance there, I hope. And because you will be able to create a lot of copilots and very, very easily, but there will be some centralized controls as well. And I think it's going hand in hand with Power Platform governance, because these are in Power Platform all the times. But I think it's, again, just like for some organizations that data sprawl or M365 group sprawl was much, but for some it isn't. Because it's just like, okay, we are changing how we are working. And now in this change, it makes sense to create that kind of agents everywhere, because they can answer those questions. They may be short-lived. And so there's going to be different lifespans of those agents and different target groups. Like, will it be available for everyone? Yes, you can publish things directly from the Copilot Studio. Is it available for those who don't have the license? I don't know. I don't want to say anything about that, because that's another licensing question, and we don't have that Copilot for licensing, and it might be outdated already. And so we are going to be seeing different kinds, and meaning the target groups is like, okay, it might be just for us when we are preparing for the session or something like that, or it might be a team where we have 20 people, or we have some kind of knowledge agents for us who have 100 people in there, or then the whole company. So there's going to be different levels where these agents are going to be helping us out, and they're bots. Most of them, but I think when we get to the Copilot agent capabilities, or like better capabilities that was bubbling under, like creating those actions, making them like they can actually do something. And there were some videos showing that too. I don't remember if we added those here, but I think that's becoming very, very cool. And also the kind of a promise that Copilot agents can use other agents. Then we are getting to the kind of real agent category in there. But I don't have all the details how it's going to work, or is it even out. I think this should be coming about around October, end of September, October, so we can start playing around and see what we can do. But I think kind of the big thing is that it's coming close to user. That's the thing. We don't have to jump to the scary Copilot Studio to create something. We just do it inside Business Chat.
Yeah, and I think this works with the persona that they're generating, that you talk to Copilot as an individual. So this will create effectively subject matter experts for you to chat to, or bring into a chat.
That's a real well said.
Yeah.
If we move away from agents then, and one of the other announcements was around Copilot in Outlook and some of the updates around there. So again, we've got a little video to play, which we'll go through, and we'll talk over around some of these that have come out in Outlook.
I think, Adam, you are using Outlook a lot, so you can.
Sometimes, yeah, not that often. So basically, yeah, we're now getting a feature. Let's see here what they're doing here. Oh yeah, so basically the feature they were announcing was prioritize my inbox. So based on who you are kind of doing a lot of meetings with, who you seem to kind of collaborate often with, analyzing content, as well as kind of looking at your organizational structure, as well as that you can see our manual is saying this is important for me, this kind of topic is important, or from this these people, please prioritize this. So based on that, you can click this button and you get your prioritized email you should look at first at the top of your inbox. Something like that, right?
That sounds super useful, but in that demo, they're only showing that on the focused inbox. And most people I know turned that off.
I haven't.
Have you not? Okay. Do you see it in yours? Because I don't have it in mine. And I do wonder if it's because I don't have that feature turned off.
So what I understand, it's not a kind of like a focused inbox where it's basically just learning kind of what emails are kind of business related and others are just like kind of something you subscribe to or not as important based on learning. But here it's more of it looks through your entire inbox and it will basically put your prioritized email at the top for you to see, so you don't. So basically, if you have been gone away for a day on leave, for example, and you come back and you have 150 emails unread, and I was like, okay, so I got 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and I need to quickly kind of go through what's important, really important to kind of review and maybe answer. So with this functionality, you can click this. And you get to those priorities. You get your manager's email, for example, an important customer. Maybe there's an important conversation ongoing, and so on. And I think basically from the get-go, it might not be as valuable from the start. But then again, like if you help out with training it, and I would assume it learns from you as well on the go. So as you could see in the movie, for example, you could say, oh, wait a minute, this customer or this person is or topic is important, so you can mark it as important, and then those will get prioritized in the future. So I really look forward to try this one for sure.
Yeah, I noticed in the video that was on, there's a longer video that they showed. If you go to the announcement page, there was actually really nice features coming to the mobile experience where you can get Copilot to create some responses for you. Now, I think that's super useful because I don't know if anybody else spends ages on the phone trying to reply to an email because I keep spelling things wrong. I don't know, I've got fat fingers and it takes me forever. So to have a Copilot there that understands kind of my voice, and I like they did a demo of you can like choose a section of the text and comment specifically, tell Copilot, respond to that section point by point, say yes to everything. That sounds really useful to me.
Yeah, but I think again there is it's kind of a mix between, okay, I can quickly get an answer up and running, but yeah, make sure to review it before you send it off.
Good point.
Yeah, and I think the prioritized inbox, it's been there, but not like that. You were able to use BizChat to ask about your email box if you want, and it's been slow. Nobody really used it, and or very few people, or unless perhaps you had a lot of emails, and then it would be faster than going through the box. So in those scenarios, it's just a kind of a bring it to Outlook, so it's already there quickly. You don't have to even open the Copilot because it's integrated directly.
So yeah. Like looking at the dispersed kind of experience here, we're going there to do something in another application. Now we can do it directly in the application instead of using BizChat for that. But still be able to use BizChat, for example, if you want a great summary of your emails, important emails, but also team chats and meetings and stuff like that, then we can still, I assume, utilize BizChat for that.
Yeah, but I think one of those things here is we are seeing Copilot/AI embedded more and more everywhere.
Yep.
And Copilot is like our UI for AI. I think that's greatly said, because we'll be using the natural language and using the resources, and Copilot is the interface more and more in Microsoft applications.
I do think we desperately need that ability to move between those, so that it doesn't matter where you got Copilot to create that content. If you now want to edit that in Word or PowerPoint, you need to be able to shift. So integration is the way. I think it's always the way with Microsoft, because they are huge and they have lots and lots of teams working on lots and lots of different products. It's impossible not to get the development such that everybody is developing the same thing but in their own silos. So that layer across is the bit that really excites me about how we can integrate.
I agree.
All right, so we are pretty much on time. Some great discussion there around Wave 2, and like we've said, this is forever developing. As we know, Microsoft 365 never stands still; it's always moving forwards, and this when Copilot was announced, it wasn't announced as wave 1 as such. So we're already on wave 2, and look how much Copilot has changed, look how much more accessible it is and available it is across the whole suite. So it's exciting. I think, Sharon, you said earlier on, it's ever evolving, exciting to see, where this is going to go, and some of that interaction and so on. Just on the PowerPoint there, just putting some links on screen around the announcements and the blog post. I think it's just been posted in a chat as well by Adam. So either or, you can click on either of those links with take you to some of those Microsoft blogs and so on.